Nomads talking gardening. He'll give you some tips for your garden, or if you want to know how to start your garden, hey, he'll help you with that too. So stay tuned. About Your House is brought to you in part by PutToolsInSchools.org, connecting students to tools of the trades and raising awareness of the many career pathways. About Your House is also brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store. Queen City Home Store is a family-owned store that's been serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent appliance retailer in the Carolinas, constantly growing and taking pride in the experience they offer customers with a knowledgeable sales staff, product selection, and lowest price guarantee. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some time with us. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
And welcome back, hour number 2 with Kevin Gath, talking gardening, dirt, planting, what have you. Do you have a particular, would you rather plant flowers or food?
Both together, yeah. No reason to separate them. You can plant them together, right next to each other. Swiss chard, for example, has all those colors on it. The rainbow chard has like reds and yellow stems and white stems. Plant that as an annual interest plant in amongst your berry shrubs and your fruit trees.
Gotcha. When you go out and talk to people, do you find it sometimes, your mission, let me talk about your mission. We restore local ecosystems by cultivating native landscapes and communities deeply rooted in nature. So connectivity.
Yeah.
Now when you go out to people's house sometimes, a lot of people are lazy. They just want something pretty. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to do anything to it. Mm-hmm. Do you find that to be a problem or?
No, not really. Because my approach is as low maintenance as it gets because nature is doing all the work. If you do a little bit of planting and put the plants that would naturally thrive in your area, the plants do the work. If you plant them densely so that they can outcompete the weeds, you don't have to do the weeding. If you let the predators live, you don't have to worry about the pests. So if you...
Like snakes, that would be one of those predators. Mm-hmm. People, Rishton earlier today said, we had a black snake. Snakes are beneficial.
Had a mice problem, and then the snake, after the rain, I saw it slithering outside my window, and I thought, oh, look, there's a snake. It's kind of cool. But.
Yep. Yeah, snakes take care of rodents, rats.
They're smart.
Yeah, they'll take care of things that, you don't know what they're taking care of because you don't watch them, but they're there doing their job.
Yep. And then the hawks will eat the snakes, and the cycle continues.
We got a hawk in our neighborhood too, so we got one for each. Mm-hmm. Got a snake, got that gets the mouse, and we got a hawk that can get the snake.
The one thing about Charlotte is it's growing so much that where the animals are going. For example,
to my backyard.
Two months ago, there was a field up the street, full of wildlife, full of vegetation, full of nature. Okay, just full. It's gone.
Yeah,
they mowed it away. I mean, they just chopped it down, stripped it. Gonna build houses, condos.
How many of those are we? I mean, there's no way they can fill all those. What are we doing?
I don't know. But anyway, where do the animals go? The animals are disrupted. They have to go find other areas.
Yeah. And if your landscape is just a lawn, then the only place for them to escape is your house. So you want your landscape to have habitat so the animals will stay out there.
Right. I went to a house the other day, do a job, put a double oven in, take one out, put one in. Wow, what a yard. They were backed up to a wooded area in Charlotte, which is rare in these days. It's so beautiful. Not much yard to it, but it was a very wild nature based yard, and it was just like the whole back of the house was opened up in glass. Yeah. Where awesome. You could really
immerse yourself.
Bring that. Yeah, you could just awesome. Literally just get immersed.
Isn't it such a lively feeling? I mean, it gives you a sense of life and being alive, as opposed to a lawn.
I like the country. I like nature, and I think we all tend to like nature. But city life tends to captivate it harnesses you. It captivates, not a good word, but it literally grabs you and pulls you in to where nature kind of goes away.
Yeah.
One thing about Charlotte they've really done wonderfully with are the greenways.
Yeah, they're great.
They're absolutely phenomenal at putting nice, natural greenways in Charlotte. Beautiful.
Well, and maybe the greenways are the chance for the community stewardship efforts, because the greenways already have a minimal amount of care. If the community can come together, almost like an Adopt a Highway program where you adopt a butterfly highway.
Right.
Yeah. So that the community has the option to do it, but not the obligation, I guess.
Right. I love nature, and I think that's the whole. And you bring nature to your yard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what you're trying. Yeah. That's your whole goal right there.
I have butterflies and hummingbirds and every kind of life you can think of.
And it's all around us. Why don't we take it and enjoy it and provide ecosystems in your yard that provide a balance?
Right. The earth supports all of us. You can do your part to support the earth back.
And it's easy.
Easy and cheaper and better for you all around. Less toxic.
Do you ever give workshops?
Yeah.
In communities?
Yeah, well, I've done one digital and one online, but
would you go into schools possibly?
Yeah.
I see you addressing elementary school kids.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be, man, that would be cool. That's something I really want to do, is put together a group of men, and I said men, not women. Now, why? Because there's not enough men.
Schools have a lot of feminine influence already, I think.
Yeah, sure do. And we need more men addressing kids in mentorshipping, so to speak. But my goal is to develop over the next. Actually, I alluded to this issue last hour in the leadership, need. Leaders, they're hard to find, and men, you just kind of take a back seat now and let women control everything. If we don't put more men back in our education system, well, you see what's happening.
Right. We need examples of strong men so that boys can grow up to be not strong, but
masculine.
Good. Yeah. Good.
Men.
Yeah, good.
Men. Not a bunch of whiners. But I'd like to nurture and build a group of men that we can be a network or fellowship to go into schools and teach these kids hands-on tools around landscaping, around gardening, around growing, and that sort of thing. Because otherwise, how are we going to pass this on? How?
That's the only way, is person to person, basically. Reading doesn't, you need an example. You need a role model.
The only time we learn is when we apply. Gary Crump with Men of Destiny called me here. It's been 8 years ago now, maybe 7, 8. He called me and asked me if I would help with some raised beds, building raised beds in a garden over at MLK Middle School. And I said, sure. So we got a group of kids together. We went over there and we cleaned out the existing garden area. It was fenced in, and it was in like a courtyard. And we cleaned it up, got all the junk, out, cleaned it up, and all the rotten material and all that we pulled out of there. And we built, I think it was 3 raised beds in there for people that in the community. It was a community garden, and the kids they loved it.
Yeah.
But where will they find that leadership and that element of learning?
I think the landscaping in community is the easiest way for that, because you don't need tools and materials and permission to build the thing. All you need is a patch of untended edge that you plant some seeds even, but flowers, and then you come back and see it and it's grown more and it's fulfilling.
Would you possibly work with a community, a neighborhood maybe, to help develop that? If I don't know what you do, I know what your passion is, but would you work with a group from a community if they so hired you to do so?
Yeah, and the cool thing about the community scale is there's neighborhood matching grants. So I've done this a couple times where I think the Charlotte last time I saw will match $3,000. So if you can raise $3,000 amongst the community, Charlotte will match. So you can get a $6,000 project done. That's great. You can install an entire food forest and have it maintained to maturity for that.
And you could help guide them through that.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. Workshops and stuff along the way if they like it, or I could just do it myself.
Just do
in-house.
it yourself.
Yeah.
In-house. Yeah. Cool.
As involved as they want to be, they can. If they want hands off and all they want to do is come harvest, that's fine. Or if people in the community want to be involved in the design and the planting and stewardship, then that's even better.
Well, there again, I think, now granted, gardening's not dead, folks. Don't misunderstand me. There are a lot of people gardening, but you'll find that most gardening is done by an older generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Garden clubs the average age of a garden club, I bet, is 60.
Yeah. Boomers. And they're going away.
And then do you think there'll even be a garden club in like 30 years?
So that was my concern, because there was this symposium that had its 40th anniversary, and there was a picture of the original garden club, and it was the same members. So then 40 years ago, they were 25.
Right.
And now they're 65.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I mean, it's
So people aren't.
succession.
Yeah. So then the alternative is like, then there's no garden club. There's no people joining. Then
Yep.
you lose it.
Yep. And I see the community as powering that, because if you have the older people that are sort of acting as the leadership and the impetus, then the younger people come and help, and now it triggers their...
Hopefully. And that's the reason we need to get more people involved. In teaching.
Yeah, I agree, because it's the middle generation that transitions between the two. You have to have the three generations to have the grandparents teach the kids, because the parents are the intermediary. Or whether it's family or just community, it's a multi-generational effort is how you pass it on. So I picture, for example, one community element as laid hedgerows, basically a living fence. We grow up the shrub and you cut it back and you lay the branches together, and then it grows back into a woven fence. The oldest hedgerow in England is 900 years old, so this can be a permanent fixture. And the maintenance is every 7 to 10 years you lay those branches and weave them together. So every 7 to 10 years you have a hedge laying festival in the community where people gather, and you have the food and the music and the 10-year-olds from last time are now the 20-year-olds that are teaching the new batch of 10-year-olds, and so on and so forth.
Wow.
Isn't that what community is built on, is tending the land around you?
Well, that should be the case, yes. But in America, we've been so divided and so misled that we're so separated. It's hard to get that back.
I agree.
And that's what we're talking about here on the show today: is how do we bring community back into the fold and do away with some of this division and come together.
Well, there's common cause there in tending the land around you, because it's not your property that you're managing. It's the common grounds that everyone sees and enjoys.
Right.
So there's the shared purpose, and also the opportunity to rely on other people to show up and do their part. I mean,
and that's become more and more of a problem as well.
Is the people showing up, or there's no opportunity to show up?
The people showing up.
Well, yes, and there's lesson in that conflict. The more
there's your problem. Everybody's too busy. Seriously.
Well, yes, I think that's.
Well, it's become a crutch or whatever, but everybody's too busy.
Well,
Kevin. I wish they weren't, but my gosh,
people say there's too busy, but there's plenty of time. It's just about prioritizing. If there's another way to spend your time, then you might do that. Right now, the only way to spend your time is on the phone. If there was also a community nature garden,
sure,
you could spend your time there. Maybe you don't, but you have the opportunity.
Gotcha.
And I see a lot of people walking their dogs and stuff, and walk out for walks. And if there's a place where they're all walking, ending up picking some berries or something, then there's room for connection, and now you meet your neighbors, and instead of just walking by them and avoiding eye contact, hey, there's some blackberries over there.
Yeah, got it.
And also, it's an opportunity for work, for people to have jobs. So, I mean, There are young people that want to go to college but need to make some money. They can tend the landscapes around. There's land everywhere you look that needs tending. And so if there are opportunities to make something of that land, then people will seize it.
I just wish we could instill that initiative in community more.
It is. I think it's all about the opportunity. If you give people the chance to do it, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But if they don't have the opportunity, they can't either way.
Right.
So, so if there is an invasive patch in every community that I've seen at least, and so there could be a easy. I mean, I could see even. I'm not into government much, but I could see the government funding a regeneration program, a landscape stewardship program, where they fund the initial planting, or the ongoing, or whatever. There's room there. I mean, that is an ecological economy is sound.
Well, yeah, if you can create it. That's my point right there. It goes right back to what I'm doing with Put Tools in Schools. Without support and resources, those programs are hard to come by. They've become harder. Now, you're talking about grants, community grants. I love it. But somebody's got to take the lead, right?
In generating that project?
In generating that project.
Yeah.
You know.
But once the project is in, now it's very simple for someone to just maintain it. The hard part is really the installation. The ongoing maintenance is as simple as can be.
Do you ever work with a group like that for that?
I did an invasive removal once at Aldersgate. That was, then participated in another like tree planting for
Shamrock
community. Yeah. And Tree Charlotte does a lot of work. I mean, even tapping into the existing things that are going on. Tree Charlotte plants a bunch of trees around, but they're planting into lawn. And so why not plant perennials around those trees? And now you have a whole ecosystem without any really extra coordination or effort. It's just they're already planning and communicating. You just add a couple extra plants around their trees. So there are very easy ways to get started doing making some progress on this ecological economy. Your
website's what?
It's gardennomads.com.
Gardennomads.com. It's up on the screen right now. Mow less, grow more. Yeah, I love it. If you have a community and you're interested in the Charlotte metro area, you could call Kev.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Go online, gardennomads.com, and check him out. And see what they can do to help you. Yeah. Now, he doesn't do this for free. He's a great guy, but he's not that great. No, he's not. Because everybody's got to pay the bills, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
No, that's fortunately. We can pay. But it's because of you. But seriously, if you're looking to do a project like that and you'd be interested, they could reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I see big opportunity in the stormwater ponds, retention ponds. Those could be planted well. Food forests are great, and also any big expansive stretch of lawn that doesn't get use could be a meadow instead.
Let's speak of those retention ponds you spoke of. Yeah. Are you doing anything with retention ponds?
Yeah, I'm certified for the inspection and maintenance of those stormwater control measures. Yeah.
I've been curious about all the retention ponds now. Is that working?
Oh yeah, 100%. As opposed to sending it through pipes, it has a chance to get into the ground. That's all we want.
That's right. Yeah. I agree.
One opportunity I see there is most of them are just mowed grass when they could be planted wetland plant communities for many, many reasons. Lower maintenance, better ecological function. You're making use of that. Also, you get better infiltration. So if you have your SCM planted, you have more infiltration. That means you can have more impermeable space for that same measure. Does that make sense? If a turf grass retention pond will infiltrate X amount of water, a planted retention pond will infiltrate, say, double that. So now you can have twice as much space draining into that pond.
I gotcha. And more beneficial when it
Way
does.
more beneficial. Way more beneficial. And also that, I imagine that becoming a nursery space, basically, because once it's full, growing happily because there's plenty of moisture, those plants need dividing. That's how you remove the extra fertility out of that space, and those need to go somewhere else. So you plant the next maintenance pond, and the next maintenance pond, and the next.
But aren't the maintenance ponds fenced?
Yeah,
Most of them are fenced. So whoever tends to that would have to have access to that.
Yeah. I see the existing stormwater inspection and maintenance crew doing that work. So part of their, instead of the maintenance being to mow every month, you divide the plants in the spring and fall. So you just change your maintenance a little bit.
Not that I notice it, okay, but these retention ponds, there's a lot of them because now it's code, right?
As it should be, I think.
Do you know what the code is on a retention pond?
Well, I think
Roughly.
how it works is that they take the previous space, so they figure out how much infiltration there is there.
Right.
Your new space has to match that infiltration,
Gotcha.
I think.
I gotta figure out. I mean, I gotta have somebody on the show that knows about site work like that.
I can reach out to a
I'm
couple
just
people.
curious because those retention ponds have become very numerous. I've looked at some of them. I've noticed them, and some of them will dry up and be just dry as a bone, and then some of them will be ponds. Well, that creates a hazard with ponds, or does it?
How so?
I'm talking about kids.
That's why they had the fence.
That's the fence. And really, I don't like fences, but
Also, how
but I
safe can we
understand.
really make the world? Do we make the world safer, or
that's
do
the
we make
point
people
right
more
there.
capable?
No, people are.
Just found out Ray doesn't like fences.
Well, no. I mean, fence works both ways. It keeps predators out. It keeps,
Boundaries are good.
huh?
Boundaries are good.
Well, boundaries can be good. I agree, but not always. They can also keep people out to control the issue, to maintain and protect that pond, as what you're suggesting, to make it a ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right? If you make that pond an ecosystem, you're creating life.
Yeah. You're literally you're making plant living material out of sunlight and air.
Exactly.
It's alchemy.
Instead of letting it just sit there and do nothing.
Yeah. Burning a bunch of fuel and
But
for nothing.
who's doing that's my question. That's
Who's doing the planning of that?
Yeah.
Why is it that way?
Right.
I think the reason that lawn is so lawn started because it was a status symbol, right? But I think now lawn is around more because it is easy to maintain. It's easy to put on a calendar where you mow this often and you put this fertilizer and this seed on. So it's just very easy. It's easy to do without thinking at all, which isn't usually the best approach, in my opinion.
Pretty. Well,
It's not that pretty anyway.
Let's talk about my sponsors here a minute or two. ABS Insulating. Guest next week, ABS Insulating. Going to be talking insulation and gutters. Yep, we'll have one or two representatives next Saturday on Fox Sports Charlotte. ABS Insulating, talking about comfort, summer months ahead. And we're going to talk about this whole concept of attic encapsulation. Imagine this. I got to do this, talk about this as I always do. You got an attic, right? Every house no, every house doesn't have an attic. But when you do have an attic, hot summer days, your temperatures in that attic is going to be 140 to 150 degrees. And if you have ductwork in your attic, you're carrying ductwork for your comfort system in your attic, the air in that ductwork becomes 140, 150 degrees. And every time your air conditioner comes on, it's going to spit that breath of hot, humid air in your living environment. Well, there's a way to eliminate that, and that's attic encapsulation. Call them, absinsulating.com. Give them a call. Talk to them about it. If you got a 2,000 square foot house, the footprint is 1,000. I mean, your attic footprint's going to be 1,000 square feet. Relatively small space to encapsulate. And if your air conditioning is struggling to keep up with demand, this is a way to bring it back into balance. Yep, It works less, and it also, attic encapsulation also extends the life of the roof because you don't have 150-degree heat below the shingles. Think about it. That's absinsulating.com. FCI, Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Floor covering, they bring it to your door. Bring the showroom to you. Yep, no matter where you're at and what your needs are, they'll take care of you. That's Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Online, yourflooringteam.com. They bring the showroom to you. The most popular floor in the Charlotte metro area are stained hardwood floors. That's right, stained hardwood, be it engineered, sanded, stained, whatever your liking is, they got you covered. LVP, LVT, ceramic tile, porcelain tile, carpet, custom rugs. Floor Coverings International, Southeast Charlotte. Yourflooringteam.com. And then Queen City Home Store. Queen City Home Store has become your go-to home furnishing store. Many locations throughout North and South Carolina, whether it's appliances, media, furniture, home furnishings, you name it. Bedding. Let's don't forget a good night's sleep. Bedding. That's queencityonline.com, 704-391-6000. Sometimes they can have you can purchase it today, have it delivered tomorrow. That's queencityonline.com. And today's show, I've got the Garden Nomad. Yep, Kevin Gath talking about gardening and water control and ecosystems, all in your backyard or front yard, whichever you want. And passionate young man. Where do you see yourself in 5-10 years? What's your goal? Got one?
Yeah, big vision. Basically, it's just I would run a conservation land trust where I would, where people would who say they want to put their property into conservation, I would manage that for its health.
What's that mean?
Conservation is basically where you restrict the use of the property. So say a farmer wants to put their land in say a farmer wants their property to stay a farm forever, then they would put it into conservation with the restriction that it can only be used for agriculture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you can make the covenant as much however you want. You could also say it's for a nature area or something of that sort. Yeah.
So you're going to manage that conservation area.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, that would be the big umbrella corporation or what the umbrella entity. Yeah. So that
my
we can
only advice would be keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple.
I've made it into a lot of pieces so that each of the pieces can be simple. Altogether, it's complex, but each of the pieces is simple. So, like, I want to do a bunch of different things, but Garden Nomads doesn't want to do all those things. Garden Nomads just wants to do the stewardship specifically. All Garden Nomads does is stewardship, and then there would be the conservation trust that manages the contracts and things, if that makes sense.
Not to me, but if you're happy with it, I believe you.
Yeah, I see it. And that's a long-term vision anyway. That's after I've gotten a bunch of people involved. And
what kind of people you want involved? Because, see, you've got to do exactly what we just talked about in our conversation today. You've got to find other passionate people to get involved with you and make this thing grow, which I wish you tremendous success with it, because finding people, that's the problem.
Yeah,
that's the key.
Community. Everything I do boils down to food, shelter, and community, and the community is what makes everything keep going.
Are you going to be an influencer, or are you going to be a worker bee? Now, I'm not asking you that specifically.
Well, I think everyone can be a role model for someone.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, but the new career pathway, I'm an influencer. What's that mean?
It is tempting to start making content and stuff. I think it's distracting. I'd rather.
It is distracting. It's a
lot
job
to keep up with. Mm-hmm. It becomes a job.
Well, I've thought about podcasting. Obviously, it's a very popular career pathway for people these days, although it's out of control.
It's few and far between, though, the people that actually make a living off podcasting. It looks glamorous, but you got to take it as a hobby and go in with it that way more than I'm going to make money off this.
Right, it's an art, and if you do the art that speaks to you, then other people see that, and that's
Right.
Yeah,
It's more organic.
I want to do more podcasting on a creative level around giving information back and helping kids for tomorrow, such as what we just talked about, you helping teach, lead, and mentor students.
Yeah.
You know, because of your age, you're young, you've got a life ahead of you and a lot of career ahead of you. And you could be that element. In other words, do I want to use you? Yeah, I do. You know, because you're passionate. And I think you'd work good with kids. And we need that. We need that involvement.
Yeah, I agree.
There's not any of it in our schools to speak of.
Right. Yeah, no opportunity to learn.
No. It's just like carpentry and everything else out there. I'm going to say this. We're about to lose one of our key teachers if we're not careful in our Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system. And this community has a beautiful teacher in Keith Olson. Keith Olson is the carpenter instructor or teacher, call him what you want, at Independence High School. They went to Skills USA this year and competed, the Independence High School carpentry class. And now I don't know all the specifics and the exact data on this, but they won second place, as it's my understanding, and then they won first place in another division. That's the first in many, 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 many years that we even got representation in students at Skills USA in Greensboro every April. But they went and competed and won. They won. Wow! Congratulations. If we don't support that teacher, he's going to leave. He'll leave. He'll leave just like the droves that left last year were losing teachers. The reasons? Well, there are many reasons, but the main reason he would leave is because he's not getting support he needs. He's not getting the support he needs from industry, but most of all, the education system he works in. What on earth are we going to do about this, folks? You can't get good service any longer at your house. You might call a plumber, and the plumber comes over. Does he know what he's doing? Now, I'm speaking like everybody's dumb, stupid. No, that's not the case. There's some great technicians out there, but they're few and far between relative to the need. I see this all the time. Our construction, quality of construction has gone down incredibly over the past 20 years. The new homes being built, are they built to code? I'm questionable. What in code is bare minimum, folks. But yet our houses are failing. Why? Because we're not teaching people how to build houses anymore. You know, yeah, I know we've got some companies, the home building companies around, and they've got great reputations, and there's some custom home builders that do absolutely phenomenal work. But it's not like it used to be. The quality's gone down incredibly. I mean, it's appalling, some of the things you hear about and you see every day. But what are we going to do about it? We've got to teach these students, these kids out here, what the careers in the trades look like, so we can drive them into that career pathway, because it's a great career. It's great money. It's very purpose-filled. It's rewarding. And Lord of mercy, the money's great. So what are we going to do? And here we're going to lose more teachers when we, in actuality, need more teachers. And we need kids to respect the teachers. Also, we got a parent problem. I can go on a rant here like crazy. But my goal is do something about it. Action speaks louder than words. Well, in fact, Put Tools in Schools is doing something about it. We're introducing and showing kids the career pathways that exist so they can have a great future. Great future. You didn't always know how to work a shovel, did you?
No.
You know, now you take a shovel. How many kids have ever used a shovel?
Small percentage.
How many kids ever used a tool, a power tool? Small percentage. And that's what we have to show these kids. We have to give them the pathways, show them what's out there and what's available for them. And how are we going to do that? Well, next year, this school year's about up. Let's face it, folks. It's, May 26th? Isn't that the day? Mm-hmm. May 26th. School's out, June 7th?
10th, something like that, man.
1st of June. The first 2 weeks.
Really, it's about out now, let's be honest.
When school reaches the last weeks of school, it's over.
Yeah, the teachers are out, the students are out. They're just
waiting on time, biding time. But for all general practical purposes, school's almost over. This school year's had it. So what are we going to do about next year? Well, Put Tools in Schools has a workshop over here called the Toolbox. I'm in the podcast studio in the Toolbox right now. And we're going to introduce kids to electrical, heating and air, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, welding, drywall, painting, cooking, domestics, life skills, leadership. We're going to teach them things. We're going to introduce. Are we going to have a school? No, we're not. It is a school in nature, in the fact that we're going to teach kids how to use their mind for critical thinking. Because believe me, it's real simple. It's real simple. All you got to do is show them. Your teacher showed you. You liked it, didn't you? You grabbed it and ran with it.
Yeah.
It's all the same. And it's all real easy to do, but we have to show them. When I go to a career day into a middle school, and these 6th, 7th, and 8th graders have no clue what the trades are, what that even means, what are the trades, they don't know. They have no clue. Then how are we supposed to have service techs knowing what they're doing? How? It's impossible, is it not?
If no one learns, no one will know how.
So let's teach them. Puttoolsinschools.org is the website. It kind of gives you a general overview of what we're doing and how we're doing it. And we need help. We need support. We don't. The kids do. The teachers do. Our career pathways do. We need to teach, guide, instruct, lead kids into the trades more than ever. It's your house. It's your problem, not mine. I can fix it. I can. 5 years we could turn this around. 5 years. Industry, we need your help. We need your help. We're going to expand this podcast to 2 a week. About Your House is going to have a podcast. We're going to do a podcast around Put Tools in Schools as well. We're going to bring students in here. I went to a career day at Aspire Trade High School 2 weeks ago. Well, actually, it was last Friday. And what I saw at that trade high school, have you been to Aspire yet?
No.
I'm going to take you up there and show you that school. But that's a trade high school. One of the few we have in Charlotte. Well, actually, it's the only one we really have in Charlotte when it comes to a trade high school. I alluded earlier in the conversation today about I went to Builders Bridge. Builders Bridge is a connector space in North Charlotte as well, over here off Interstate 85. And the whole concept there is also to connect students to the trades, carpentry, electrical, various trades over there. Great facility over there. I'm going to bring them into the studio here, and we're going to do a show about what Builder Bridge offers and the support they offer. Great program. Great program. Went over there it was this past Wednesday to an open house. And although I had been there before, Home Builders Institute has teamed up, partnered with Builders Bridge, and Builders Bridge has pretty much moved in there and taken over the program, which is good. It's great. Hopefully, I wish them tremendous success and do everything in my power to assist and support them every way I possibly can. Anytime we can get more kids, more men power into the trades, I'm all for it. Not that we don't want women in it. That's not the issue. But we definitely want to keep pushing and teaching and guiding people into the trades. We need it big time. We definitely need it. And the trades are growing, is gardening, and we need to put not guide, but expose, raise the awareness of the career pathways in landscaping, in growing plants, in gardening, and all of that. Because gardening has become, to me, too commercialized.
Yeah.
Way, way too many chemicals on the storefront.
Yeah. When I tell people I'm a landscaper, they think that I do mowing and hedge trimming.
I understand that. And that's really not landscaping. That's yard maintenance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right.
That's yard maintenance.
Yep.
That's not landscaping.
Yep.
That's maintenance.
Yep, you're right.
Yard upkeep.
Yep.
Yard maintenance.
Maintenance is the perfect, as opposed to management.
The most important thing when you plant a garden is your water and sunlight. Am I right or wrong?
Important, definitely important. Yeah.
Well, you got to control the water. You can use landscaping as a water controlling agent, and you need to control the water around your property and keep it away from the structure itself. You need to keep water flowing around and away from your house. But a lot of people don't do that.
Or if they do, they send it all the way off of the property instead of just away from the house.
Right. And you got to control the water, be it downspouts, be it just erosion. You've got to control Mother Nature.
Erosion comes from bare soil.
Yep. And we don't erosion. All right. We talked last time you were here about dirt. Let's talk about soil and give some people a lot of people right now want to grow a garden, want to plant some food. What's easy to plant? Give people the easy recipe for gardening food.
The easy recipe for gardening, I would say in our area, because we have clay soil and hot, humid summers, is to plant plants that like that. Those would be sweet potatoes, okra. Tomatoes are good. Yeah.
Tomatoes.
Well, tomatoes want more amended soil than the sweet potatoes and the okra. Sweet potatoes, the best sweet potatoes I've grown were in just clay fill dirt, screened clay fill. I just made a pile of it and planted the sweet potatoes in there, and they thrived with no inputs.
And sweet potatoes, superfood.
Superfood, you can eat the greens as well. Saute them like spinach. Yep, it's a great summer green. It's hard to grow greens in the summer because the lettuce, the arugula, the spinach, they all like the cool weather, but sweet potato greens are excellent for the summer.
Cool.
Yep.
Any more tips? Come on. Dig deep here, bub.
As far as what's easy to grow, I would go back to dirt and soil. If you have biologically active living soil, anything is easy to grow.
Worms, earthworm casting.
Worms are an indicator that your soil is already healthy, but they won't make your soil healthy. What makes your soil healthy is the microbes that the worms are eating. So if you want to make healthy soil, all you have to do is open it up with a shovel, decompact it.
Aerate it.
Yes, get air into the bottom, yeah.
And you could do that by mending it with some natural matter?
You actually don't really have... If you're growing food, yes, but if you're growing native plants, you don't have to amend the soil. All you have to do is loosen it up so the roots can grow through.
Through it.
Yeah.
Because clay is so compacted.
It can compact.
Dense.
It can compact very easily, yeah. Especially if you walk on it when it's wet, that's when it compacts. But a good thick layer of mulch, 2-3 inches of mulch, will act like a sponge and prevent that decompaction, and also prevent the soil from drying out on the surface, because it's the drying out that turns it into that hard pan, cracked clay that you think, and then water flows off the surface instead of down into it.
Tilling the soil, recommended?
I would, if you're growing a garden, I would till once and never again. Yeah, just till at first to decompact there, and then you want to build up from that point.
Right. So you don't have to till every year.
Don't do it, because what the tilling every year does is it destroys all your worm tunnels. A single worm tunnel can last years and years, believe it or not. But when you till, you destroy those worm tunnels. It's the worm tunnels that obviously the worms use them, but the water will flow down the worm tunnels, and the air, it'll pull fresh air into them. You want soil structure. You want structured soil, not powdered like a tiller would.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But the most important thing for soil is the microbes. It's the bacteria and the fungi that...
This environment in the soil.
Yeah, you provide...
Your cooties.
Your dirt is your dirt is the shelter for those microbes, and it's the microbes that do all the work.
Right. That's why you need it to amend the soil sometimes. Sometimes. I'd say all the time.
Yes.
You know,
Especially
right.
for food. Food crops want really good soil.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Food and crops, good soil.
Yeah. Native plants actually a lot of the time prefer leaner soil, because if the soil is too rich, that feeds the weeds instead of the native plants.
What about grubs? You know anything about grub worms in a
Grubs
yard?
are a good food source for some creatures. They're a bit of a pain because they'll eat the grass roots. But if you have deep grass roots, then the grubs eating a little bit won't do that much damage. When you have very shallow, unhealthy grass, then the grubs eat those roots and there's nothing left. I would say if you have a grub problem, you probably are mowing too low.
Yeah, you had mentioned something earlier about weed eating or
Yeah.
the 6-inch rule,
Yep.
but hold that thought. Let me talk about my sponsors here a little bit and speak about Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions. Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions, relatively newcomer to the foundation repair business, but an excellent newcomer. Out to give you exactly what you need, total transparency and honesty from two guys that developed a company that doing a fantastic job. Give them a call. Get online, rhinofoundations.com. That's rhinoliftfoundations.com. And get them out to your house to check it out. If you have concerns, you have cracked foundations, a crack in your foundation, a crack in your wall, doors don't close. Windows are very difficult to open and close. Give them a call. Get them out there. Check out the reasons, the problems. Let them give you solutions. They have plenty. That's rhinoliftfoundations.com. And let's don't forget our crawl spaces and bug. It's bug season. That's right. Kilo Exterminating. Kilo.biz. Your go-to pest exterminating company. Pest control. Whatever it is bugging you, give them a call. That's Kilo.biz. Been in town since 1939. 3 generations old. And why? Because they're quality. They do what they say. They're there to control your pests, not encapsulate your crawl space. That's right. They've got one job, to make your pest manageable. That's Kilo.biz. And today, we got the Garden Nomad in-house today, talking dirt, worms, gardening, environment management, soil management, excuse me, not environment management, but I wish we could. It'd be a lot better.
We can on a big enough, with enough people playing a small part, we can manage the ecosystem to be healthy.
Well, we can if people cared. Get out of their chemical stores.
I would say show them why they should care. So the triangle that I see is that there needs to be a lot of these beautiful ecological landscapes around for people to see it and want it.
Yeah.
But for those landscapes to be installed, there has to be the people that do it. But for there to be the people that do it, there have to be people asking for it. So you have to almost solve all 3 of those problems at once.
Okay, you're right. What about irrigation? Irrigation systems. Are you in favor of them?
I will use, for food, yes. I will use irrigation in landscapes just for the first couple of years to establish. My thought is that if you need irrigation for your plants to survive, you chose the wrong plants for the
Well, that's
for the site.
based on your conversation today. That's what I would have taken it to mean. Irrigation, you're not planting the right plants.
Yep. Exactly right. Yep.
And irrigation is to me, it's way overused.
Oh yeah.
Way wasteful.
Yep. Yeah, we're spreading
It's easy for me to say.
freshly cleaned potable water onto the dirt. capture your rainwater and put the right plants in, and you don't have to waste
Right.
all of those resources.
And they create a lot of water issues sometimes too because irrigation systems aren't
Leaking.
managed well.
Yep, I see leaking sprinklers all the time.
Oh gosh.
Who do you talk to about it anyway, even? And so,
Well, I've tried to get sprinkler companies on this show. All of them are too busy and they don't want to come on the show and talk about it.
Really? I'm shocked about that.
Well, I was too. I've talked to 3. We cornered one day at a interview we were doing at a business, and young man your age, young guy, took over his business from his father, and he said, "Yeah, I'd love to do that." Never called me, never got back, and I even called him twice. No, I'm interested in irrigation because it's big business in Charlotte.
Well, it's not really a part of the industry you even think of really either.
Well, I
At
do
least I
because
would, but you probably
there are
do.
irrigation systems. There's a maintenance you have to perform on an irrigation system, backflow, and all that maintenance you got to do. And I think homeowners need to know more about that.
No, I agree.
You know, Caroline, she's got an irrigation system. I had to go over there and show her how to turn it on.
Okay.
You know, but irrigation to me is the biggest waste of water there is in
huge
this
waste.
city. I'm serious.
Filling the ground with plastic for no reason. A sprinkler is just as effective as an like I said, you should need to water your plants once or twice in the summer. If it's more than that, pick better plants.
Better plants and better water control.
Yeah, hold the water in the wet season. Yes.
Right. And again, too, once again, we talked about rain barrels earlier. Rain barrels are a very effective way to collect water. And quality of water, because what you got in irrigation systems is city water.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, is chlorinated, which plants don't like. If you talk to your plants, they'll tell you, I don't like it.
It certainly kills the microbes.
No, it's terrible. You know, but go ahead, use your sprinkler system.
Yeah, Ray likes to cuddle with his plants. Tell him it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
Hug a tree. Yeah, cuddle the plant. But seriously, why in the world don't we know more about irrigation systems as homeowners? You know, how to fix the heads, what to do. That's why I want to have, you know a good irrigation guy?
I don't use it.
Well, I didn't
don't.
think you did. That's why I brought it up.
Yep, I don't know anyone. I mean, I'll do I'll do temporary drip
Oh,
irrigation.
yeah, drip irrigation's great.
It's effective. It's efficient because you put the water right where you need it. You don't have to lose any to evaporation. And
Right.
I'll turn my drip irrigation on all night, like twice in the summer if it's in the middle of a drought. And that's it.
Well,
That's all
we're
I
in a
need.
drought. We have been in a drought.
I haven't
folks.
used it. I still haven't used it. It's
Really?
worse. Yeah, I'll wait till it gets worse. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I hope it doesn't get any worse. I remember back in 2007, we had a drought where the ponds out in Union County almost dried up, many. You know, it was bad.
The solution to drought is, like you say, to manage your rainwater. If every property held all of their rainwater, we would have no drought and we would have no flooding. The flooding comes because everyone sends their water out the pipes and it compounds, and now it all gets to the stream all at once.
Right.
If you slow it down at every stage, you're better.
We've talked today about toxins in the water. If you use fertilizer on your yard, all that fertilizer is chemicals.
All the soluble fertilizer washes out in the next rain.
And I was going to say it goes into the stormwater
Yep.
system and gets in the ecosystem, and there you go.
Causes algae blooms. Yep.
It's more detrimental than it is good.
It is.
I know.
Yeah.
I know it is.
Yep.
But people don't think about that. Out of sight, out of mind. Not my work. Not my problem.
Use compost instead of soluble fertilizer because you still get the fertility, but you also get organic matter.
Yeah.
And it holds. It's held into that material.
We need more organic matter because we're eliminating the nutrients from the soil that is so necessary.
The trees bring up pounds and pounds of nutrients, and then we bag it up and send it to the dump.
Yep. It's amazing.
And then buy in mulch.
But it's pretty. I want a pretty yard.
Well,
Now, I'm not saying-
I would say that concept is changing. I think, me personally, obviously lawn is ugly, but I see a lot of the younger generation seeing lawn as ugly and wasteful. I have hope there.
Well, you know, we got a new generation coming up that sees a lot of things.
Yep.
I hope they see.
There. Yep.
I hope they see it.
I think more people are waking up to about everything. That a lot of this is just pure crap that people have been living through generation after generation.
Totally agree. It's almost like a counter propagandist where people want proof.
Right.
I mean, I know you say that, but prove it. I mean, that's
well. I think
that's
the
valuable.
lies are coming to the surface. I don't think it. I know
They
it.
are. Yeah.
People are
They're getting
waking up.
desperate.
We're waking up to the points, you know. So, Pete, so you're willing to take on a big project if people, a community situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
His name's Kevin Gath.
That's right.
GardenNomads.com, correct?
Yeah, that's right. My phone number is 828-579-0649.
You just Google him.
Just Google it.
Garden.
I do come up as Nomads, yeah.
You do?
Yeah. If you just Google Garden Nomads, yeah.
Google GardenNomads.com. You reach out to him, and he'll be back on this show.
Yeah.
He's going to teach kids. He just doesn't know it yet. Well, he does know it now because I told him.
You just told him.
I told him he will be a teacher. You know, I had a talk with my son who's 48, and all he could do was complain about what we talked about here today as far as lack of leadership. And honestly, it's a problem in America today. It's an overall big problem. And I said, son, you at your age should teach. I don't have the patience. I said, and there's your problem.
You have to start by leading yourself.
That's right. And you got to lead and teach. And we need teachers and we need leaders more than ever before in the history of this country. And that's a fact, because we don't have any leaders, not to speak
None with
of.
any good moral compass.
Nope.
Thomas
And
Massey, Massey 28.
Yeah, it's out of control, I'm telling you. So what are we going to do about it? What we can with puttoolsinschools.org. Let's make them men. That's right. Make them men. And teach them how. Teach them about tools. Teach them what to do with them. And women love a man with a tool belt. They do. Yeah. Handy. Isn't that right?
Yeah, as long as he's handsome.
Did you learn that yet?
Anyone who's capable garners more respect all around.
Yeah. And there's not enough guys who know what tools are. Puttoolsinschools.org. Help us out. Support us. I need your money. I need your time. What's the most valuable commodity we all have?
Attention. Time and attention.
It's time. Time. We need that time. Need your time. Everybody, next Saturday, we're going to have ABS Insulating on the show. This Saturday, actually, this coming Saturday, we've got Garden Nomads on the show. He'll be airing 9 to 11 this Saturday morning on the
Fox Sports Radio Charlotte.
I was going to say Fox Sports Radio Charlotte, foxsportsradiocharlotte.com, or download the free app, stream it live. Every Tuesday, we're airing the show 10 till noon on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. And you can go down, it's archived, this show's on YouTube every week. Somebody called me last week, where's your show? YouTube. It's that simple, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's that simple. Apple Play got it, Spotify's got it, I think. I'm going to check up on that. But regardless, we're out there. And if you're looking for a gardener, someone to assist you, Kevin's very reasonable. He's on time. He better be anyway. If he's not, let me know. I'll get on him. No, I'm kidding you. You know I am. He's got his family with him today, 2 cats. Last time he came, he had 1 cat. Now he's got 2 cats.
Another one found me. One of the stray moms around brought her kittens up, and one of them was friendlier than the other. He stuck around.
That ain't no stupid mom.
She knows where it's safe.
That's right. Well, I've enjoyed having you today. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming at short notice. You know, you're a plethora of information. You're well on your way, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing and what you passed on today, because we got a guy named Billy Stiles. He's my age. You're a mini Billy Stiles. So go make it a great week, folks. Thank you again, Kevin. We appreciate you coming in. Next week, we got ABS Insulating in the house. Tune in. We're going to learn a lot. And I've been very anxious to have ABS in the studio with me for about 3-4 years now. So they're going to be in house next week. So there you go. So go make it a great week. Find your neighbors, spread some love, make it a great week. We'll see you next week right here.